It's time to take 5 for safety. It's time for another episode of Let's Not Die Today on the Toolbox Talk Show Network.
Are you a small business struggling with creating a training program? Are you looking for an easy-to-use, inexpensive solution? 7 Taps. Microlearning made easy. Create courses in just minutes. Get 10% off the annual subscription using our special code. Check it out at toolboxtalkshow.com/training. Our topic today, electrical safety and the lockout tagout standard. Let's start with the definition. Here are some highlights from the OSHA Standard 1910.147, the control of hazardous energy, lockout tagout, or LOTO. This standard applies to the control of energy during servicing and or maintenance of machines and equipment, where the employee may be exposed to the unexpected energization or startup of the equipment or release of hazardous energy. In somewhat simpler terms, lockout tagout was designed to protect workers by preventing others from turning on equipment or from a release of energy while servicing or repairing equipment. What is the release of hazardous energy? Although it is primarily thought of as just pertaining to electricity, it can be any source of energy, including mechanical, hydraulic, pneumatic, chemical, thermal, or other energy. Let's talk history. Nearly all of modern life depends on electricity. The type of electricity that powers our modern world resulted from a little episode that would become known as the War of the Currents. The famous inventor Thomas Edison bet on his direct current or DC system. In 1882, he began electrifying New York City. A young inventor by the name of Nikola Tesla was promoting his alternating current system. Tesla was a Serbian immigrant and worked for Edison when he first arrived in America. Tesla tried to persuade Edison to adopt AC, but Edison wouldn't even consider it. After a dispute over a bonus that wasn't paid, Tesla quits. 2 years later, in 1887, Tesla patents his AC motor. Enter George Westinghouse, an inventor and businessman who has been buying up patents and companies in the hope of creating an integrated AC system. He quickly realizes that Tesla's patents are the key to an integrated AC system, so he offers Tesla an upfront payment and a generous stream of royalties. Edison isn't giving up on his DC system, in which he's invested millions. He claims that AC is dangerous, and as a bizarre way of demonstrating his point, he electrocutes animals in Central Park. Also, privately, Edison supports using alternating current to electrocute prison inmates on death row. DC power had a significant problem, however. It could only transmit power over a short distance before requiring a recharge station, proving to be its Achilles heel. AC ultimately was more efficient and could be transmitted much longer distances. In 1893, Westinghouse won the bid to light the World's Fair planned for Chicago that year. In 1896, he also won the contract to build a power station using the incredible power of the Niagara Falls. With Tesla's help, both the World's Fair and the Niagara Falls power station would use alternating current. Let's look at some stats. The Electrical Safety Foundation has produced a report based on some of the Bureau of Labor statistics. Between 2016 and 2019, there were 7,310 injuries and 616 fatalities due to electrical accidents. A breakdown by occupation shows deaths were 43% construction workers, 22% installation, maintenance, and repair, 17% building, grounds, cleaning, and maintenance, 7% transportation and material moving, 6% other. Electrocution is still one of the top 10 ways to die at work. Let's talk safety. Tip number 1, always perform lockout tagout before any repairs, maintenance, or service on equipment or any work that requires a person to place any part of their body in or near the point of operation. Tip number 2, all power sources should be disconnected and locked in the off position. Tip number 3, each person involved locks out the power source with their own personal lock and key so they have control of the energy source. They should always place a tag on the lock to warn others and to identify who is responsible. Tip number 4, you should never remove someone else's lock. In some workplaces, only a designated person or group can lock out power sources. When performing lockout tagout, remember these basic steps in the process. Identify the equipment or machinery that needs to be shut down and all its energy sources. Notify affected workers about the shutdown, those who work on the machines or equipment or work in areas where lockout tagout will be performed. Shut down the equipment or machine, shut off the power source, apply locks and tags to the power sources so the machine or equipment cannot be restarted. Test. See if the equipment is properly locked out by trying to start it. After the work is completed, remove all tools, notify all employees that locks will be removed, and the equipment will be restarted. Following these tips can protect you from accidents, injuries, and even death. Thanks for listening to another episode of Let's Not Die Today. Remember our website, toolboxtalkshow.com, where our slogan is, just press play. As always, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. If you love what we do, please tell your employer about us. We love you too. See you next time.